Thank you all for coming. We have a packed house, that's a great thing. Especially on these meetings, we have to have them off Mondays. That kind of makes things a little messy. People, I know, think it's confusing, but usually we have to push the meetings for our holidays, so we push it over by a day. Before we get to our law enforcement update, I want to go ahead and prepare y'all. We have our Hyatt Park Key Terrace officer elections later on in our agenda. I'm going to do that first when we get to that part of the agenda. To prepare for that, and because the election, which is a little unusual for us, is actually contested and we have to actually record the votes in some way, talked about with my fellow officers last night and came up with a procedure that follows our bylaws to the extent our bylaws allow us to. I've got ballots for the contested elections. Right now we only have 2 contested elections out of all of the other ones. But our bylaws do say that you can only vote in the election, as I've made very clear in the emails and all that the last couple months, that you can only vote in the election if you're a member in good standing, which means you've paid your dues. So if you paid your dues, and you still have the opportunity to do that tonight before our election, Elizabeth, the treasurer, is right here. If you still need to pay your dues, you can do that in person right now, or go on right now on Donor Box and make your dues payment that way, and I will get an email so I can see it, so you'll know, or we'll know.
Or just write your choices on the back of a $10 bill.
That would also. So, what I'm going to do, and unfortunately for Elizabeth, I'm going to task her with this. Is she has a list of all the people who have paid, and Elizabeth, I've got the list of people who have paid online right here. Okay. All right. So Elizabeth has the list of people who have paid. And so I'm going to allow Elizabeth to go around the room while we're having our meeting before we get to the election and give out ballots to those who have paid. So do not write your name on the ballot. The ballot will be secret so that, it's just everybody from having to worry about all that. So it'll be a secret ballot. Don't write your name on it, but save it for our actual officer elections we do. So Elizabeth will only give you a ballot if you're on our list of someone who's paid dues. And if you have a dispute about that, you'll have to resolve it with Elizabeth.
We'll fight the parking lot.
Yeah. So thank you, Elizabeth, for taking that on. And I'll go over the procedure of the election when we get to that. But first, I want to kind of get to a few things. First off, as usual, our law enforcement officers, if y'all like to come speak to us about crime and everything else that's going on. Thank you.
All right. Good Tuesday evening, everybody. All right. Not too often I get to see you guys on a Tuesday, so pleasure to be here. Like I always start off, all your crime stats will be provided by the City of Columbia. I can't speak the way they are right now. I'm not sure if they're busy with something or what, but I don't have any crime stats to give you guys because I don't have access to them. But I will say, just being in the area, being proactive, I stopped the car earlier today, probably about an hour or two ago now, at the A1 mark right there. Got the people out, searched the car, they didn't have anything in the car though, nothing noteworthy at least. But I will pass along some crime stats of things that are happening around the county. Like I said, I can't speak for your area because I don't have access to be able to look at your crime stats because they all come from the City of Columbia. But I will say auto break-ins are still a thing, although school has started back. Kids are, I guess, finishing up their homework early enough to go out in the middle of the night breaking cars. I wasn't that kind of student. I had too much homework to wake up 2 o'clock in the morning and go be mischievous. But nonetheless, that's still happening in parts of Richland County, so y'all just be wise. I ride around Hyatt Park quite a lot, and there's a lot more houses in your neighborhood than there are people at this meeting right now. So if you know people in your neighborhood that aren't at this meeting, if you take anything from this meeting, let them know that they don't need to leave anything in their cars. No handguns, no laptops. There was a teacher in another area over on Clemson Road who left her work computer in the car overnight, and somebody came and stole her work computer out of her car. Good luck explaining that to the principal when you get to work tomorrow, but don't leave anything of value, basically is what I'm saying, in your car. Especially firearms. If you own a firearm, don't leave it in your car. And make sure your car is locked at night too. Because they go around pulling door handles trying to get in the cars, and if it's unlocked, that's easier access. If it's financially, if it's financially feasible for you guys, get cameras around your house and make sure they work. okay? Cause we go to a lot of calls, for people that have auto break-ins or people with, you know, various things going on around their house at night and they don't have cameras, or they have cameras and they don't work and they don't help. So if you can, get some cameras around your house, leave your yard as lit up as possible overnight. That way that'll kind of deter people from kind of, you know, hiding in the darkness and commit crime at your house, overnight if your yard is lit up. So, and that'll give your neighbors opportunity too. If everybody get up and get a drink of water at night, they can look out the window and see everything that's going on in your yard. And if something's up, then they can call us. All right. I do want to pass along the non-emergency number if anybody doesn't have it. If you want it, that's a good number to call. 911 is dispatch likes for that line to be as open as possible for emergencies. So if you have something that's going on, don't quite feel right, but you need the police to come, call this number. It's 803-252-2911. Again, 803-252-2911. It's not an emergency number. It'll get you in contact with the dispatcher that's not currently on a 911 line. So they all share, you know, the same room and they all have access to phones. 911 line is always busy in Columbia, like always. So if you want to get in contact with somebody that's not currently on a 911 call that number. Same dispatcher, they can dispatch the call, it's just the same, but there's just a number to go around 911 in case the line is busy. So 803-252-2911. 803-252-2911. All right, anybody got any questions?
Is there a noise ordinance in the county?
There is in the county, yes.
There is?
Yeah, not sure about the city.
There's one in the city, there's one in the city too.
Does that apply to automobiles?
Automobiles? What's going on?
What's going on? Didn't you just hear it?
Dual down mufflers, now exhaust.
Have you ever made a citation for a noise ordinance in your travels and your work?
That's not really something I run into that people complain about a lot.
Really?
No, I haven't, especially not cars.
Yeah, they complain about the loud music coming out of the cars, or either Harley Davidson driving up in the neighborhood.
But you don't enforce that. If you hear somebody's clearly violating it, you wouldn't stop for that.
It all depends, because if you got somebody doing donuts and they ram the engine up, but if you got a car, somebody went to a muffler shop and they got a axle back muffler, or they got a floor mat or whatever, that's legal. We can't stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
I saw a hand over here too. You got a question, man?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Somebody else need to ask the question though.
Somebody need to ask your question?
No, ask somebody else. I'm gonna ask, about the homeless people out here off of behind churches. Have anybody been over there and took care of that?
How many is it?
Wait a minute, she told me your name and I was like, on it?
Yeah.
David?
We're not gonna talk about it long. I'm just asking this question. And so you take care of that.
That's in the city of Columbia, so it's really kind of in the city of police's jurisdiction. We had this brought up at the last meeting. I emailed the North Region commander. He said he was not aware of increase in homeless people in the area, but that he would send out patrol vehicles to look into that. So that's the update I got on that this week.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I got two things, I'll be very brief, because I don't want to hold up y'all meeting. Based on what Braylon was talking about, auto break-ins, Hollywood Hills had 9 cars broken into. That's off Fairfield Road. Now, the 9 cars that were broken into, all 9 of them were left unlocked. So please, they come in these unlocked vehicles. One other thing I want to talk about briefly, I'm quite sure you heard the sheriff talk about locking up parents because of what their children out here doing out in the street. Now, let me break that down. He's not talking about locking up parents when they're hard-working parents that are doing the best they can with their kids, and the kids go out there and make a mistake and do something wrong, and then they get arrested. What he's talking about is the parents knowing that their children are out there violating, stealing cars, stealing guns, shooting, and they commit an act where they shoot someone or they rob someone, and then the parent picks the child up knowing what he just did because the child calls the parent and says, I need you to come pick me up, and the parent covers it up, and we find out about it. Those are the ones he's talking about. So just want to clarify that, okay? I want the parent to think, well, my child went out and broke the law, now the sheriff is coming to lock me up too, you know? But he's talking about the ones that are knowing that the child broke the law or the juvenile broke the law, and they try to cover it up.
They don't come tell us
Right.
about it, or they
Yeah,
take
those,
the kid and hide the kid, or
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, but you gotta have some accountability, you know, if your child go out there and break the law, good, a prime example, I'm gonna shut up. Out on Wilson Boulevard, out by Kenyon Road, there was 3 juveniles in a stolen car. 11 o'clock at night during the weekday, Thursday night, 11 o'clock, stolen car, 3 of them jump out, all right? They jump out, they're walking down Wilson Boulevard, one of them left his shoes in the car, that's how we know it was them, all right? One of them dropped a green bag on the ground. I said, what's in the green bag? He said, officer, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a gun. He had a gun in there, 15 years old, played basketball for Oakland High School. I know his basketball coach. Nice young man, but he, you know, wrong place, wrong time, with wrong crowd. Okay? Any questions?
All right.
Thank you for that anyway. Thank you.
And, Deputy Salmon, I actually emailed you the note we sent to Captain Hicks about that incident on Johnson Avenue and the other problems we've been having over there, so y'all should take a look at that and, you know, next meeting, those notes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and so to follow up on that, like we just discussed, we did have some issues, we'll go ahead and address this now. Juan brought up some issues about Johnson Avenue last meeting. I did talk to Captain Hicks. Captain Hicks said they were aware of the incident about the, I believe he's a homeless person or drug user exposing himself, threatening people on Johnson Avenue. Sorry, can you hear me? Captain Hicks said they received a report about that. An officer responded, was by the time he got to the area, the suspect was gone. The officer later found the suspect at Zesto's, questioned him about the incident, but the person, the suspect denied doing what he was alleged to have done, which is expose himself. So no evidence, or without enough evidence to prosecute, they were declined to prosecute, but we'll ask that they, of course, keep an eye out, and they said specifically about the lot behind Church's Chicken, they're not aware that that lot was a problem, so they will now be there more often and looking into it, or trying to patrol that area more often to make sure that that lot is not an issue, so. Any questions about that specific issue we had last meeting? Okay. All right, that's, I think, our law enforcement issues for the day. Did everyone have a chance to read the January meeting minutes carefully and ensure there's nothing that need to be corrected? There's no additions or anything. Well, Bob's done a great job as a secretary because we haven't had a single correction or anything since I think he took over as secretary. So is there a motion to approve the minutes that were sent out? Ellen has motioned a second. Pat, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, the January meeting minutes have been adopted. Let's get to some community announcements. Sabrina, can we start with you?
Yes, sure.
Would you like to come up? I don't think I need to introduce her. Y'all know Sabrina.
Would you come up to me? Yes. I think everyone knows me in here. I'm Sabrina Edwards. I'm the president of the NOMA Foundation. Also, I called D'Amica up here because she was part of the Light Up NOMA committee. And on behalf of the committee, first I want to thank everyone that attended the Light Up NOMA event during the Christmas holidays. I think it was on the 14th. It was a parade and we had some entertainment and some other stuff. But the highlight of the day was the Christmas tree contest, where we had folks from Columbia Green and other places judge the Christmas trees from each neighborhood. And the prize was $500. And Hyatt Park Keenan won first prize. So I'm here to deliver a $500 check. And also would like Bessie and Janie, and who else was a part of this? Gail and Elizabeth to come up. Whatever. I was just doing that. So Janie, oh, she outside of the county. I just want.
We need a model.
I'm sorry, Gail's not here.
Yeah.
All right.
And we look forward to, Hyde Park participating next year in the Light Up Your Christmas Tree Contest. So thank you again for all your support.
Thank you. Thank you, Sabrina and Jamaica, for organizing and working on the event. I know it's a great time, and I think it's a great thing for North Columbia that we are doing that. Glad to see all the neighborhoods coming together, and thank you, Sabrina, for all y'all's work in supporting not only businesses in North Columbia, but the neighborhoods as well. We appreciate all the work you do, Sabrina. Thank you so much. All right, Jamaica, your turn again. So, any events going on in Hyde Park coming up?
Just one more event, the Peace Walks with Service Connect. It's just Sunday, 12 to 1. Well, the walk starts at Earlwood and ends up at Hyatt Park. And they're gonna have a big block party from 2 to 6 at the park.
What
Everybody's
day?
welcome to
What day?
Sunday,
Oh, Sunday, this Sunday.
yeah, the 23rd.
Okay.
And if they are looking for participation as well, just with that.
Also, they would like for someone to speak about Lincoln Park. There are two names, I gave two names. I gave Lionel and Jamie name. They want someone to talk about Lincoln Park. And so which one of you all are willing to do that?
You talking about me?
I gave, Lincoln Park, you know what all
This is what we call voluntold.
Gail's the one who got that. It's
Yeah.
but we need somebody to talk about, the park, to give a little synopsis of the park, and I gave two
You count me
names.
in, sure.
What, so,
Sure.
okay, I sent it in there.
There's when they had the dedication of it, there was a guy who came and spoke. Mayor was there.
Dr. Bob, yes.
What was his name?
Bobby Donaldson.
Bobby Donaldson.
He's a history professor.
Maybe he kept the paper that he wrote. It's really very detailed, so.
So you'll be.
You know Bobby?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, we'll go.
So you're gonna have to be at Earl's Farm.
Okay.
That's it.
That's great. All right, thank you, Jamaica.
Oh, and also, if anybody that wants to participate, people will come to participate. I don't know how long to walk, I haven't walked it. Me and Ms. Pat, they drove the route, but
It's a little over 1 mile, because once they leave Earlwood and come down Sunset, it's gonna go into the neighborhood, so the way they went is 1.2, 1.2.
It's exactly 45, if you walk fast, it's 30 minutes, if you walk slow, it's about an hour.
Are people carrying signs, or we're just walking, or anything like that, or?
on the last meeting, you can, because I think they're trying to get some churches involved to go as well. You can have a sign that represent Hyatt Park, Terrace, somebody want to tote a sign. They're just trying to, it's a peace ball. And so there's want everybody, as much people that want to walk it, to do it. You can have a sign if you would like. Most people just volunteer, just walking, just supporting that we got peace and we got unity in our community. So that's,
And the block party,
Flyer,
the
if you wanna
vendors,
stand, you
the
get it.
yeah, the vendors and the speakers gonna be at Hyde Park.
Okay, so if someone's interested in setting up a table, how would
Just
they
see me.
contact you?
Yeah, just see me and I'll make sure I have it already set up, or have someone already set it up for you.
Okay.
And what's the starting point again?
It starts at Earlwood and it'll end at Hyde.
Probably at the community center there.
Yeah, Well, we gonna start at doggy park.
Excuse me, let me give you a flyer. It has a QR code on it, and you can scan it to get more information if you want to get information. There's the flyer. No, my pleasure, my pleasure. Of course you can. You have as many as you like.
All right, I think that would be a great time to transition to Veronica. I think it's your turn.
Can I just ask a question? Jamaica, do you know what the, what's going on with the new playground equipment? Is that
No, I
installed?
know
Is
it's
it
up,
here?
but the issue was, one, they don't have any like mulch or anything down there for safety reasons, so they waiting on this was told to me, that they're supposed to be putting some stuff on the bottom, just in case the kids fall off the playground. Right now, it's just rocks down there, so I'm like, well, how long is that gonna take? So. Yeah, but hurt that. Yeah, so we need some protection down on the ground. There's no protection, so that's why it's still wrapped up and the kids are not able to play. Now, how long is, I don't know what the process or how long.
Can we help speed it up for you?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so. Because summer camp, we will have a summer camp as well, so we definitely need it before summer. And then some of the patients was talking about the rocks that, by the slide. They do not like the rocks by the slide. I had a patient came in complaining about the slides and them big rocks, so.
All right, we'll work with maybe Kenya Bryan and I'll see if we can move that along with Tina. All right, Veronica?
Thank you so much for having me, and there are several flyers that are on display. City funding for nonprofit events. We are going to be having the tree trimming meeting by Dominion Energy next month at Busby Street Community Center, and as Mika was saying, the Peace Walk is this Sunday. But one thing I want to stress that's near and dear to Mayor Rickman and council, we have boards and commissions and committees that have 2, 3, and 4 vacancies on them. We truly, truly need for our constituents to get involved so that you can have a voice. There are a wealth of committees. So if you would take this flyer, scan this QR code, and check and see if there's any board or commission or committee that you will be interested in. When I say we truly, truly need constituents, we are unable sometimes to have meetings because we don't have enough people on the committee to have a quorum to go forward. So it's just very, very important, and it is a dire need. And so I come to you all today and ask you to please take this flyer, scan the QR code, and see if there is a board, commission, or committee that would interest you that you would like to take a part of. I greatly would appreciate it.
Have they given any thought to holding the meetings at some time other than midday on a workday?
And another thing that we've heard is that, and if we have 4 people and 2 of them have to call in, do the conference call, if we have to move the time of the meeting, some meetings are at 10, some meetings are at 11, some meetings are at 1, and some meetings are at 2, because we're working around people's lunch hour. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because that's how we need to do things that come before the planning commission, that come before we can't move forward because they're sitting in committees. So that is definitely one thing that I would highly recommend. Send it to the PIO mailbox. Send that you would be interested, but it doesn't fit your schedule because you have a voice. But if you can't share your voice because the committee doesn't meet around your schedule, you may not be the only one. It may be a dozen people, but we do not know that if you don't say 6 o'clock works for me. Can we rotate it? Send it. Send it to the PIO at columbiasc.gov, because when I say we're not having meetings, we aren't having meetings because we have too many vacancies on these committees and boards and commissions.
And let me just say too, if I can interject, and it sounds a little hypocritical since I'm rolling off our board after this meeting, but I think this is actually really crucial for people in North Columbia to serve on these boards and commissions. These boards and commissions actually do write recommendations to the city. They're straight to city council. you often are able to speak directly to city council members. Like Bob here has had that experience as well. You really do get a voice, and your voice gets an outsized influence. It'd be really good if our side of town got a little recognition and got our voices heard, because I feel like this is a part of town that has historically not had that. So if you do have the time, please consider doing that. Some of them aren't huge commitments, so just go look at the website and see if you can find a board is an area that you're interested in, because I think it really helps.
And voice your concern to the PIO mailbox, so I'll send it to my director, so we can go over to the mayor and council to see what can be done. If you don't speak it, once again, use your voice to say, I can't share my voice.
I've heard this comment about the boards not having enough people for like the last year and a half or so. And every time I go look, every one of them meets during a workday. I get a 30-minute lunch.
Send it, so I can send it up. I monitor the PIO mailbox, that's why I said send it. That's one of my duties.
Thank you, Veronica. Appreciate all your work and all y'all do with the city. Appreciate y'all. All right, let's jump into the committee reports. Elizabeth, are you over there?
I know what it is right now. I can't give you what it is with our money we got tonight.
That's fine.
But currently in our bank account, we have $6,106.99.
All right, and we've got a big old check from.
We just got a big check. And we
For
just got a bunch
Christmas
of.
tree decorating contest, so
Somebody
we're.
have a penny. I want this to come out to an
I will donate it.
We're rolling, guys. Any questions for the treasurer?
I have one, of that $6,106, is part of that, a grant, or is that usable money that we can use?
Yeah, part of it is a grant for, and this always confuses me, and I just bring my notebook with me. But one of them is a garden grant, which I think is not the garden grant that's over there. It's the one that Mimi started, the grant for that garden. But please don't quote me on that, because I didn't bring my notebook. I came from work. And then, that is the only grant that I know of that has, and only about $1,000 of that is that grant.
Do we have any date when we have to spend that?
Yes, Mimi has that information. She's the one that's kind of writing and then administering the grants as they come in. I don't know the dates off the top of my head.
But she and I are gonna try to get together either this week or next week we get together about quarterly to reconcile all of that, so I can make sure. Because then I have to give it all to the Secretary of State in April-ish.
Okay.
And they check my math a lot, so it has to be right, or they reject it, and then we pay a fine, so.
We do have a decent bit of cash compared to where we've been historically, for different reasons, but we don't need to talk about it tonight, but just maybe think about what we could spend some of that cash on. My opinion about that is there's no reason to have it just sitting there. We don't really have a lot of expenses, so if we can think of some good uses for the community for that cash, whether it's a social issue, membership events, some way to better our community. That's got an idea already?
Well, last year we sponsored some kids during summer for the camp, and I was just wondering if we had gotten any feedback on that.
Other than a thank you card, a very lovely thank you card from the mother of the student who got the scholarship, I've not heard any feedback otherwise, but I think it's,
Yes, and also from his grandmother, Jim's Cave. She comes sometimes, but they were deeply appreciative of that, and I would like to suggest that we do that again.
Yeah.
That was one child.
Yeah, we talked about it.
And that barely the dent in our finances.
Yeah.
It was minimal.
What was it, like 800 or 600 something?
No, I don't think
I forget.
No, I don't think
It was like four.
Yeah, I think it was $400 something.
For the total camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just be thinking of it, that's a great idea, and be thinking about that and other things that I like. I don't want us to sit on a pile of cash. Well, part of the reason of our increase is we just, one, don't spend a lot of money, so we're just good stewards of it, so just set some bills. Two, we've implemented an online membership due payment system that is greatly, and we increased our membership dues. So more people are paying and the average amount is going up. So that is basically why our numbers are really going up. All right, so thank you, Elizabeth. Membership committee report, Mimi, I don't believe is here. So we will push that to the next meeting. National Night Out Committee, Pat, you got anything for us?
Everything goes smoothly.
Yeah. And we have a ways to go, so. Well, I know you work on it year round, but yeah, so. If things aren't going smoothly, you let us know. We'll make sure you have all the resources and help you need. Beautification Committee, Jamie?
To be honest with you, any reported incident, I'm working on it, or I have worked on it. And just an update today on the 701, I guess Sunset, we met out there today to try to get some clarification on the last thing we were discussing at the last meeting.
And this is about the yard that is around our neighborhood sign at the Ketchum Mustard House.
It is all right.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
Okay.
That's one issue that we're working on. There's several issues that I've worked on all weekend, and it's been corrected, and so, I think there's only one that I may need community involvement, and I'm not sure yet, but that, 3619 Main Street at Main and Miller. There's an event company that operates out of that building at Main and Miller, and they refuse to, pull their, garbage cans in, and they leave it out there, and also they leave the garbage from the event from the night before, they leave it out there on the street. So, and unless Ms. Brown was out there today, and I gave her the address, or I tried to give her that problem, I don't know what the meetings are, but if not, we will have to get a letter or something.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm gonna work on it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Janie. Any questions? All right. Hyatt Park Committee, is there any, I don't think there's been any meetings or anything.
I just wanted to suggest that, getting back to what Jamaica was talking about with the playground, I think we do need to put some pressure on the city to finish it. And furthermore, they have not provided seating, and seating was something that we explicitly requested over and over, I think, a place for parents to sit and while their children are on the playground. Anyway, I'm happy to write a letter, maybe, Jane and I were talking about, maybe we could have a letter writing campaign, maybe everybody could write a letter, you know, or something. I mean, if it sits there like that, and the summer comes around, it's gonna be so awful.
I agree. Can you draft up that letter and send it to whoever the president is by the time you're done, and that person will send it? And we'll send one as a neighborhood and ask maybe for a meeting if they don't think they can rectify it. Maybe that's the way to do it. I know they don't want to meet with us, so maybe they'll just put some stuff out there.
It occurred to me that maybe it's a different company, you know,
Yeah.
maybe the responsibility for the surface is a different company.
I will say I walked around out there and it's not just rocks, it's wiring, it's all kinds of garbage. I don't know what the deal is, but it's in terrible shape.
Yeah, and, you know, in the paper today, they announced that they were spending $21 million at Finley Park, or what is it? Downtown, and they're gonna have that completed by September. And it's so offensive that you would spend $21 million and have that completed by September. Yeah, they disrespect our neighborhood that we waited for 10 years, 20 years, and they still have not done it.
Yes, we've asked for about, $1 million total over 20 years, and I made that point to Tina Herbert and Kenya Bryant and other city councilors, and the response was, well, what is it called? Finlay Park, we are using hospitality dollars for that because that can be tied to tourism, so like legally we can get hospitality money for it. I countered with, well, this is our gateway park, and so people see when they come in, and people come from all over the region to come do events here. We had Asia Wilson come do that big event. We had that YouTube star come and play basketball out there. Joe Biden came. This is an important park for the north part of the town, and tourism doesn't end at Elmwood Avenue.
Money on our part.
Yeah, so they were told, I was told they couldn't use hospitality money in our park, and I said, why not? And I didn't think the response was all that intelligent, so we'll continue making those points, but for now, the difference is we don't have access to hospitality money and Finley Park does, so. Apparently people are coming to see the homeless, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was what we were told, but that was our conversation, so I agree, Janie. The inequity is ridiculous. We'll have to keep pressing them on it. Maybe we can start with, we had a big, meeting about that not too long ago. I feel like the message got sent, but also they weren't gonna act on it, so maybe we need to start again with something small, push to get these improvements, but just to make sure they realize they're not, keeping up with even basic maintenance, so.
We can all go speak at a council meeting.
Yes. Okay.
But there is I think there's a Parks and Rec, advisory board.
It is.
Yes, if anybody has time to.
Get on the board, just saying.
All right. I think that's our Hyatt Park report. Thank y'all, for the folks that serve on the Hyatt Park, committee and continue keeping up with that because it's kind of a full-time thing for us. So, all right, that's our committee reports. Any questions or anything about that before we move into our new business? Okay, so we have our officer elections every February. I'm going to tell you how the procedure of this is going to work, kind of, and then we're going to go do it. So I'm going to tell you all the current nominations we have for the position. Yes, ma'am.
Before you get started, why we don't have the names of who running so we can write it down? I mean,
I'm about to give them to you.
I would like to see stuff. I don't like to hear. I like to see what I'm voting.
Well, I don't have anything written down.
I don't know nobody else, but I'm serious. I'm not being funny or nothing. I'm just saying, when I'm voting, I like to see the names of people running for whatever office, so I know what I'm voting. You understand what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Well, I apologize. I don't have anything written down. I mean, we have our minutes that we took nominations last month, so, and then we are still going to take nominations today, so we won't know until in a minute who all might be nominated, so I apologize for that, but we'll just have to go with what we got. And it's only 2 names, as far as I can tell, for the 2 contested elections, so we can, we'll do them one by one, so we'll have time to consider them and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all the current nominations we have, open the floor for other nominations, which we've always been willing to do. Anybody can be and we'll go through the rules for that. I'm going to provide each nominee, once they're nominated, a chance to speak. I'm going to limit y'all to 2 minutes. I'm going to time it. We're going to have a hard cutoff because you don't have time to have campaign speeches and all that. But and I think we're all pretty familiar with each other anyway. I'm going to open the floor for anyone to speak on the nominations, but again, I'm going to keep y'all very brief. We'll hold a voice vote on any uncontested election. So any officer positions that only have 1 candidate or less, we'll hold a vote, or I guess just if there's one, we'll hold a voice vote, which I can't say. And then for the ones that are contested, we'll have a secret ballot election, as I explained earlier. And then myself will count them. If there's any dispute about anything, we can recount it. And anybody that wants to watch the recount can come here and do that. So, any questions about that? Just the procedure of what we're going to do. That's all for everybody else. Our bylaws don't specify a procedure. It just says hold an election. So, other than saying what we have absentee ballots, but it has to be done before the election. So, that's the only procedure we have. All right. Does everybody that thinks they have paid their dues and wants to vote have a ballot? Yep. Okay. So, all right. The nominations from last meeting, we have a nominating committee. That committee met, and as we announced at the last meeting, the nominations from the nominating committee were for President, Bob Petrulis; for Vice President, Lyman Munson; for Secretary, Betsy Newman; for Assistant Secretary, Ellen Fishburne; for Treasurer, Elizabeth Weberett. Those were the nominations from the nominating committee. We had a floor nomination of Lee Carroll for President and Debbie Wellslager for, actually I didn't put that down. What was Debbie? Secretary, thank you. Somehow didn't write that down. All right. Are there any other nominations for officer positions? And you can nominate somebody else, and you can nominate yourself if you'd like. We'll say anyone that's nominated has to be qualified under our bylaws to hold the particular offices, and I have the bylaws here, and I can show them to you and read them to you if you'd like, if there's any issue with that. Are there any other nominations for any other positions?
Do the officers have to stay in the neighborhood?
Officers must live in the neighborhood. So, to be an officer, you have to be a dues-paying regular member in good standing. For president, though, there's more requirements. You have to pay your dues for the current year, to be in good standing, to be a regular member of the neighborhood association for 2 years, at least 2 years. You have to have attended at least 6 monthly meetings during the year, that's the preceding year, and you have to live in Hyatt Park, Terrace. Okay. Any other questions about those qualifications for the office?
No, I might have one more question. What is the cutoff for Keenan Terrace?
That's a great question. I think you'd have to give us a specific address and we'd have to consider it.
Okay.
I have, our bylaws have a map, so I would think that technically this would apply. So, yeah.
From me looking at the map, and I understand that the cutoff for Hyatt Park is Main Street, and then once you cross over Main Street, then that turn into Colonia Park neighborhood, if I'm correct.
According to this, and according to my understanding of how our neighborhood has been this whole time, there's a good swath of section on the east side of Main Street, between Main Street and the railroad tracks, that is part of our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
There's several people in here, I believe, that are members who live in that area, and we have always considered that part of our neighborhood. It's in our constitution. You know, whether the city considers it something different or whatever, this is our constitution, so we have to go by what our bylaws and constitution say. So.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Can you run through the names again for the candidates?
Yes, and I'm gonna, when we get to each one, I'm gonna go through each vote one by one. So, but the nominating committee nominated Bob Petrulis, and there's a floor nomination for president for Lee Carroll. For vice president, the nominating committee nominated Lyman Munson. For secretary, the nominating committee nominated Betsy Newman, and there's a floor nomination for secretary for Debbie Wellslager. Assistant secretary nominated by the nominating committee is Ellen Fishburne Triplett, and the treasurer nominated by the nominating committee is Elizabeth Leverett. So our two contested elections are president and secretary. Now we'll go to each one of those one by one, so it won't be confusing. Anything else about the procedure, the rules, the qualifications, or the boundaries before we vote? Okay. So I've read you the current nominations. I've opened the floor for further nominations, so this is the last chance. Any other nominations for those positions? Okay, hearing none, nominations are closed. I'm gonna provide each nominee 2 minutes to speak. I'm not kidding about 2 minutes, I'm gonna put my timer up, so, all right? I'm gonna budge you out or something. Y'all are welcome to come up and speak, stand where you want, whatever you wanna do, just let me know. It doesn't have to go in a particular order. Anybody wanna volunteer? Anyone that's nominated? You also don't have to speak if you don't want, but. Mr. Carroll, would you like to speak?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on up. Y'all know this is Lee Carroll. Lee Carroll's nominated for president. Got your time, Lee.
Good afternoon. My name is Lee Carroll. I lived in the neighborhood about 4 years. I'm ex-police officer, ex-military, ex-private contractor. I have a master's degree in Homeland Security. What I want to do is include everybody in our community, not just some. And we want to have subcommittee. And I want to work on, especially our schools in our neighborhood. Because right now, I have never heard us talk about schools. And a lot of our schools are failing. And it's failing because we're not involved. And our parks is failing because we're not involved. And I look forward to working with y'all in the near future. My name is Lee Carroll, Save Our Kids is a private organization. And if you like to vote for Lee Carroll, please do so. Lee Carroll, thank you.
All right. Anyone else want to speak? It's been nominated?
Sure. Well, good evening, and it's a privilege to stand here and offer myself in service to the community. I love this neighborhood, I really do, and I think that we've got a lot to build on. We've done a lot, we have a lot to do, and you know, I would love to contribute some of that kind of energy. I think we have good people, we've got a terrific park, we've got 2 terrific parks in the neighborhood. We've got businesses, churches, proximity to hospitals and universities and colleges. We've got so much to build on. And I think we have a lot that we can do. So that's what I'm hoping that we can move forward with. And Lee, I love what you just said about including everybody. I hope that happens regardless of who is elected president. And I really appreciate your thoughts about that as well. So, you know, let's move forward. As you can tell, I'm not a great public speaker, so so that wouldn't be one of the strengths. But it really would be a privilege to work with you all on all the things that we need to do. So thank you.
All right, any other candidates that are nominated, want to speak?
I'll say something. I'll just stand up there, use my outside voice. I just want to reiterate that, you know, I just love this community and I love our neighborhood association. And I have served as president and as secretary previously. And I would be happy to be secretary again. But I think it's a great time to let somebody who hasn't done it yet to take on that you know, to take that role. I think, can I speak for somebody else? If I just think Debbie would be great, and I'm happy to help in any way I can. So it was a privilege to be nominated, and I appreciate it. And that's all I have to say.
Debbie, would you like to speak in favor of Betsy Newman?
Well, no, all I'd like to say, we've been here 10 years, and I love the neighborhood. I love the people in the neighborhood, and yes, I'm one of those people that reads through all the minutes. And just to make sure that I remember everything that happened. But of the things that I know that I can do, I can write. So that's something I do really, really well. I was an English teacher for 15 years, and I would be happy to serve if y'all would like me. I was asked if I was interested in the position, and I said, and I thought about it a minute, I thought, yeah, you know, that's something I could do. And I am retired, so I have a little more time.
Debbie, thank you for your service as a public educator as well. All right, anybody else that's nominated? I know the other elections aren't contested, but you're welcome to speak. Any other nominees want to speak?
I'll just say hello. I'm Ellen Fishburne Triplett, and I've been the assistant secretary before. When the secretary has to be away, they give me a call and I make sure I show up. I'm not here at every meeting, but if they need me, I'll be here.
Thank you. All right.
I will say.
And,
Since everybody else did, I guess I ought to say something. So I'm not unopposed, so this time I guess either nobody will vote for me or I'll, vote for myself.
Mandate.
But but what I'd say is that I do love the neighborhood. I've lived here a long time, raised my son here, and I see a bright future for it. And this, the reason that I live here is because of inclusiveness, because I want to be part of something that I wouldn't necessarily naturally be. And so that's really why I came here, and that's why I'm really committed to the neighborhood. There's work to do. The Parks and Recreation, we don't know who the leadership is. They're not keeping their commitments. There's always interaction with council and developers who want to put a giant gas station on our best development piece at Sunset, North Main, where we do have zoning in place, but we have to stand and fight for a better outcome, not just, this is good enough for us. I've always said that is one city, one set of rules, not our set and the other people's. So anyway, that's what I'll do in the next year.
I'm Elizabeth Leverett. I was nominated for treasurer because no one else seems to want to do it. I have so enjoyed taking your money these past, I don't know how many years. But I do love spreadsheets, and I'm very type A, so it fits well with me. But I also love this neighborhood. My grandparents bought a house here in 1950, and my family has stayed here pretty much since then. So I love this neighborhood. I love the diversity. Nothing against Shandon or Forest Acres, but I don't think it has anything on us. So I love it here. I'd love to keep being your treasurer.
All right, we have a chance. Would any members like to speak on the nominations? Okay. Hearing no one wanting to speak, we're going to hold a voice vote on the uncontested positions and nominations. So I'm going to start from the top down. Lyman Munson was nominated as to be vice president. He's unopposed. All in favor of Lyman Munson being voted to be vice president, say aye. 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 All opposed? All right. Bob, if we can record that. Lyman Munson has been elected vice president. Returning to his position again. Thank you, Lyman, for your service. All right. The secretary has a contested election, so we're going to move on to the treasurer. The treasurer election is not contested. Elizabeth Leverett was nominated to be the treasurer. All in favor of Elizabeth, say aye. 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 All opposed? Thank you all. Elizabeth, congratulations. Thank you. When you start recording this, you know how many years.
I know.
Get you a pin.
It was close.
I know. By the skin of my teeth.
The assistant secretary position is also uncontested. Ellen Fishburne Triplett was nominated to that role. All in favor say aye. 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 All opposed? All right, Ellen, congratulations. Thank you. All right, we have a contested election for president and for secretary. So the nominees, this is where you have your secret ballots. Please do not write your name on your ballot. You do not need to identify who's voting for who. Write the names down. Your choices for president and secretary are, so for president, your choices are Bob Petroulis, who is nominated by the nominating committee, and Lee Carroll, who is nominated on the floor at our last meeting. That's Bob Petroulis, P-E-T-R-I-U-L-U-S.
Close enough. Bob P.
I got it right here.
How about?
Yeah.
P-E-T-R-U-L-I-S.
That's my dyslexia coming out.
Just Bob or Lee, that's all you need.
Yes, please write clearly, so that Bob Petroulis or Lee Carroll. That's your choices for president. All right. All right, does anybody need help spelling Carol? I'll have to, Mr. Carroll, how do you spell your last name?
Q-R's 2 L's.
A-R-R-O-L.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. For secretary, you have two options. It is Betsy Newman or Debbie Wellslager. Betsy or Debbie is fine, we'll count. Once you've finished writing down your votes, please fold them in half, or close them and fold them like a book. And can Elizabeth walk around and collect, and maybe Bob too, or, well, let's let Elizabeth do it, so it's just a
Yeah, we don't have
procedure, let's keep it with procedure.
ballot stuffing, but.
Yeah.
And that's the immortal Mayor Daley once said, vote early and vote often.
Right.
Thank you, I'm not forgetting you.
Oh, I got it. Excuse me. Are there any more outstanding ballots besides mine?
Yeah. Oh, you need it. Okay, I'm sorry. Ta-da! It's totally my fault.
See, Ty wants to count the votes because he wants to be sure that he's not president.
That's right.
I'm gonna start writing in other people for treasurer.
Oh, Elizabeth, I'm gonna count.
Oh, okay.
And do we have one outstanding ballot?
Yeah, just one. I'll make sure they're all on the same side.
Any more outstanding ballots?
No problem, don't worry. Stick it in the middle.
Give me one moment while we tally the votes.
Well, in the meantime, I am reliably informed, I think, that it's Matt Wellslager's birthday today.
It is Matt Wellslager's birthday today.
While he's counting, we could sing.
No. Is that a threat or?
Yes.
In case there's any dispute, if your handwriting is atrocious, I'm writing down what I think you wrote, so that's how I'm counting it, so be clear on what we're doing here.
Little line. What grade are you in now?
Senior.
Yes,
What are you doing in your exhibition?
I'm doing it on food, access to healthy food in Oak Cliff and the surrounding areas. Yeah.
Should have them on the thing.
Will you come present it to us? Look, you could be a trial run before your committee, for the,
Yeah, I have a second draft due next Friday, and then I think the final get through to at the end of March.
You still have to get an outside expert and everything?
Oh, I have one, Dr. Nicholas.
No, I mean, that's still a thing you have to, I didn't mean when you
yeah.
hadn't done it, I meant
Yes,
that's still a requirement. I also think you would, so.
So that reminds me, Veronica, is the GAP program still open?
Yeah,
At this point, are they still looking for people to sign up for it?
I've not heard that they were,
Yeah. So I think we talked about this at the last meeting, but there is a program called the GAP program that's offered through the city that offers free memberships to Instacart for low-income homebound folks. So if you know anybody who has a hard time getting to the grocery store and needs to be able to order groceries, the city has this program that offers basically free delivery of groceries.
Yep, that do a lot.
Yeah.
Except apparently it doesn't include 29201.
Looking at just like the structure, the layout of the road, the pipeline.
Well, it's only 29203 that's more than a mile away from a grocery store. It's very picky.
Yeah. All right, we have the results of our election.
Corner where the.
All right, for president.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Petrulis has 18 votes. Lee Carroll has 7. So Bob has been elected president of the Hyatt Park and Terrace Neighborhood Association. Thank you both for running, and thank you both for volunteering for what is a very difficult job. For secretary, Betsy Newman with 4 votes, Debbie Wellslager with, sweet Lord, okay. 21. So, okay. Congratulations, Debbie. Thank you for agreeing to serve and for being elected as the secretary. All right, that's our election. Thank you all. We have a few more items to get to. The High Park and Terrace Neighborhood Association officer terms start in March, so I will work with Bob and the rest of the officers on transitioning over what we need. Bank accounts, email accounts, social media accounts. Bob, you got a lot of work to do. It's been fun.
That means I still have to do the minutes this time? Is that what
For
you're
now,
saying?
yes, yeah. And you'll have to email them to yourself to submit them for the next meeting, so good luck with that. But there is a High Park and Terrace President Neighborhood Address, so that is possible. All right. Let me finish up on my work as president then here. A few things we talked about last time, we've made some progress on, so to speak. Big complaint everyone's had is the United States Postal Service and the delivery issues we've been having that we discussed. We're going to discuss them again here tonight. I did send a letter to Congressman Clyburn asking him to look into the problem. I know that can sound like it's going into a black hole, but the congressmen actually do have staff that work on resolving what they call casework and constituent work. And so I do expect to receive a response. I will pass that on when I get it, or if it might just come to Bob, he can pass that along. But we have, as a neighborhood, sent a kind of a formal letter detailing our problems and asking Congressman Clyburn to work on it. So that has been done on our behalf.
That's gonna get even worse because didn't the guy that covered the postal service resigned today?
Oh, I have not looked at the news, I apologize. I don't know. We did not send it to Mr. DeJoy, we did send it to Mr. Clyburn. So. All right, I admit I did not, sorry, Jocelyn, did you have a question?
I was just wondering if anybody is still getting those letters that say they haven't put their mailbox out of the street.
That was not brought up at the last meeting. That has been an issue I know we've addressed several times over the years. I've not heard that lately. myself. I don't know if anybody else has.
It's like 7 or 8 years or more since, for me, for real.
It's been a while since.
Yeah, years.
Road carriers doing that.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
That has not been an issue that I have heard of. Anyway, so.
Yeah, but
Any other questions about the post office?
if you ever move it off your house to the street, you can't move it back.
That's right.
You can't move it
That's
back.
right.
So leave it where it's at.
But it's gonna be a number of years. It's in your
Try to move
eighties.
it back. If the carrier changes, they won't know.
All right. I did not make any progress on the Lutheran Seminary. I've sent a couple emails. I'm waiting responses. I'll let you know once I know what's going on there. We talked about Johnson Avenue earlier. Last thing, I'm going to end on a good note. Talk to the folks at Seminary Ridge. We've put in a formal request to the city to rename, well, not rename, but to name North Main Street Sam Davis Way in honor of our former councilman who did so much work in our community. That's a request that's going to the city. I admit I don't know exactly what the process for that is, but we've signed on that as we talked about in our last meeting. We've agreed we want to help them with that. Lance Folsom from Seminary Ridge is leading that effort. If y'all know any more about it, feel free to ask me or Lance or Bob once he gets going in March. But he's going to be spearheading that effort if you want to help in any way or have some input. Any questions about that? We will not be renaming North Main Street, it'll still be North Main Street, but I believe when they do this, they put like an honorarium sign above the street names and stuff to just give some, honor. I have not gotten that far. This wasn't a plan I've been involved with. I just heard from them and we talked about it last time and I told them we were in support. So, but that's a good idea. I think we should maybe ask Lance if the city says that's too big of a street, maybe we can come up with do you have a suggestion?
One suggestion I have in case you all need a backup plan, Sunset Boulevard from right there on Main to River Drive, where we're doing the bridging of Sunset. I would suggest that St. Davis way there if you need a backup.
Okay.
Because he was instrumental in us getting Sunset Boulevard operational the way they're working on Sunset.
All right. That's a good idea. Anything else about Sam Davis Way? All right. I know it's a little late, but we have an open floor for members. Anything y'all want to bring up for the good of the order before we leave?
Anything about the construction across from Eau Claire High School?
Greg, did you ask about that earlier?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I've not heard. If anybody has, I'm not sure what property it is. I've not seen it yet, so maybe add that to the list of things.
Had a garage, it was empty, had a kind of a building.
Okay.
It got torn down, so.
I think, honestly, that one, again, I know is not come up on any of the city commissions or boards in terms of needing like approval for zoning changes or anything. So if it's just a property owner building a new building.
I think it might be more apartments, that's what I was thinking, more rental property.
We did see, I sent it to some of our folks, on, not even more, but you gotta look more into it than me, the North Main, it's up here a bit, above our neighborhood a bit, there's new apartments apparently.
Yeah, there's a proposal, this will be DDRC because of the overlay on North Main. But it's another one of these sort of row of townhouses, 2-story, 15 feet wide, really not very big. They're gonna try and get 2 bedrooms. I think one is gonna be, 6 by 8. So it's pointing at a market of, people needing affordable housing. So the only thing that, they're small units, but if they're tastefully done, it's next to a church. Columbia College is diagonally across the streets. CVS is right there. That's the empty lot between the church and a house right there. Looks a little tight, but I think they comply. So it's what the outside's gonna look like, and is it gonna be peaceful?
If anybody would like to see the plans they submitted to the city, I can just email me and I'll forward you the plans that we got from them.
Yeah, that's just reading what the city's proposing and what they're gonna approve and what they're gonna request, that kind of stuff, as far as materials, that kind of thing.
All right, anything else, Betsy?
I just wanted to say that this young man has been our president now twice. And I just think we owe him so much gratitude. And Ty, I don't want to get too sappy here or whatever, but you've done such a great job. And I just want you to know that you're appreciated. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Thanks so much. I have enjoyed doing this, I'm sad I can't keep doing it. I was planning on doing it for 2 more years, do another 3-year term. I have a new job. I'm not able to do that. I'm not moving, however. I'll still live in Hyatt Parking and Terrace. I'll still be around. I plan on, unlike last time, I was a little more involved. I don't know if it would be as involved in the neighborhood association this time around. But I'm here for Bob and any help he needs, and I do plan on still coming to meetings and being involved in different ways. So the best part about this is getting to know all your neighbors, which I don't think I would have been able to do without getting involved. So thank y'all for entrusting this to me and helping me as well, because it is a lot of work, and I've told Bob that, I've warned him about that. But it's something I was able to get done because so many of y'all come to meetings and participate and support our community. So I thank y'all too for all the work y'all done, because it's made it more enjoyable and for me, and I will miss doing this. So I'm going to miss kind of being involved in things around our neighborhood, which I agree. I want to echo all the candidates. It is great. So it's a great place to live. So I'm really happy. I don't know how many people we didn't count, or I'm sure we do have a count, but it's probably the biggest crowd we've had in about a year. So keep telling your neighbors to come. I think this is great. The more people that come, the better it is, honestly. So it's great to see so many people here today. Thank you, Betsy, for the kind words. It's really sweet. Anything else before we leave, y'all? All right, well, I'll just go ahead and adjourn our meeting. Thank y'all. We have a March meeting coming up, so be on the lookout for that.
Freedom!